Om Sehna Bhavatu Sehno Punaktu Sehaviriyam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May God protect both teacher and student. May He nourish us together. May we work together with great energy. May our studies be enlightening. May there be no hate among us. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Thank you very much. Oh, we still have more people joining. Good. Namaste.
Pranam.
Structure of today's talk is I will invite my spiritual guide. This is how I like to address him, Shri Vasudev, to share his views and wisdom on our subject that we started last Tuesday. Thanks to Kapilji who raised this subject. We will continue. Shri Vasudev will share his wisdom from his point of view of Advaita Vedanta. As I said, whenever I would like to clarify a few things about spirituality, the first person I think of is Vasudevji. And so I requested him to join us today. And he very kindly agreed to be with us today. So the structure today is that Shri Vasudevji will address us for about 30 minutes, followed by question answers. So all of you are very much welcome to raise your points, subject, share your views, or ask questions if you have. And then after that, I like you to just sit in very relaxed, comfortable posture, close your eyes gently and contemplate on what we spoke today. All that we discussed today, I would rather have all of us spend 5 minutes in stillness and contemplate on all what we hear. And then we will conclude by offering our prayer and chanting Om. So it might stretch another 5 minutes over and above our scheduled time. So I wish you could bear with us to spend another extra 5 minutes. So with that, I request Vasudevji to address us on the subject idol worship and rituals in Sanatan Dharma. He might like to tell us what is Sanatana Dharma and then what are these rituals and idol worship and how is it in point of view of Advaita Vedanta. Thank you very much, Vasudevji, for joining us today. This is a small group and sincere and serious group. So over to you.
Hari Om, Umesh ji, thank you very much. And Hari Om, everyone. Good morning, Suprabhat. Very nice to join all of you today. First, a disclaimer I would like to make. I'm not taking the position of an expert or an experienced person here. My very first training that I went through professionally, the trainer said, one very nice statement that I still remember after 40 years of training. She said, the wisdom is in the room. So the wisdom is already here with all of us present collectively. So I'm not going to be adding to it because it's already available. So is the case with every knowledge. Knowledge is available, it only has to be provoked. So the sages have given that wisdom. It's available within your brains and hearts, each one of us, in all the 7 odd billion people. Through these discussions, we are just enabling it, provoking it. Like in Gayatri, they say, Diyo Yona Prachodayat. To provoke the light or the wisdom. So I would like this to be more like a dialogue, if you would, or a discussion, if you would agree. You ask questions, and then we can, to the best of my knowledge, my background, and my current level of understanding, I would like to address them. And if anybody else would like to add to it, you are most cordially welcome. Umesh ji is my good friend. We have had several hearty laughs together, several talks on various topics, including fun topics of spirituality, what is Atma, Anatma, and all of that stuff. So it's fun talking to him. I'm sure you would have realized that during the satsangs. While we begin, I would like to offer my prostrations at my inspired teacher, Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, Sri Ramana Maharshi, and my guru, my teacher, my mentor, Sri Narasimha Prabhuji. My voice may be a little hoarse. I'm just recovering from fever and cough, but I will, if it gets a little unclear, please ask me to repeat. Who would like to initiate the discussions?
Kapilji, would you like to raise your point once again?
Hari Om Acharya ji. My initial question was, what exactly is Sanatan Dharma? And from what is widely accepted is that, or widely believed, that it is basically people who believe in idol worship, rituals, etc., which go along with that. And my second question was a subset of that inference, that isn't idol worship and all these rituals conflicting with the concept of Advait philosophy? And I'm sure that is not what all these, starting from Adi Shankaracharya down to even current day Mahatmas, Ramana Maharishi or Paramahansa Ramakrishna, that's not what, and I'm sure they were all followers of the Advait philosophy. But how did idol worship come into all this? This was my inquiry. So if you could throw some light on that.
All right. So if you can volunteer to have a dialogue, a friendly dialogue, like between two friends, between me and you, the rest of the people can join in psychologically, listen in, and also participate psychologically. That will give clarity. First question, what is Sanatana Dharma? I will I will lean on to what my teacher said. There are two parts to it. One is Sanatan and the other one is Dharma. Of course, you would have probably discussed this in your last session, but we will go to it. What is your understanding of these two words?
Well, it now be colored in the light of what Acharya Umesh ji had mentioned last week, that it is Sanatan is eternal and Dharma is the law of nature. So it's the eternal law of nature that we are following, is exactly what Sanatan Dharma stands for.
Perfect. Actually, that is Sanatana is eternal and Dharma is actually an order.
Okay.
Law is a result of the underlying principle of the order. There are multiple levels of orders in the universe. That which is eternally flowing in order is Sanatana Dharma. And the next question would be, you know, and you can translate Dharma also as a principle, a universal, eternal principle, isn't it? So, in that sense, what is a universal principle? That which is applicable to everything and everybody and in every place, isn't it?
Right. It pervades, all pervading.
Yeah. So the question there, therefore, is, should it be taught?
Sorry, should it be?
Taught.
Okay.
For example, when the baby is born, is it taught how to suck the mother's breast? I and you have done it, right? As infants.
Correct.
So it is present. It is present inherently, naturally, everywhere. It is very natural for all of us, all beings, all living beings. Should somebody teach the sun to shine? The water to flow? Can water stop flowing? If we ask Ganga, hold on, will Ganga stop? It's eternally flowing. Now the only problem there is one component in creation, the human being. Animals are in dharma only, and they call it expresses as instinct.
Instinct.
It will kill only when it is hungry. Otherwise, right in front of the lion, the king of the forest, the deer, the zebra will be walking majestically without any fear. Therefore, it is even in human beings, even in us, it is present naturally, but because of our corrupted mind, we tend to forget it and act in ways that are contradictory to natural laws or principles. Now, this is the true meaning of Sanatana Dharma. It is not with respect to any particular group of people. Specifically, if in our minds we have Hinduism, is it for Indians or Hindus? For example, with respect to human behavior, can you actually look at one universal principle of a human reaction or a behavior or a principle? Any one thing. We can play a game, KBC, guess.
I don't know, compassion.
Please
Compassion.
repeat. Could you please repeat the question, sir?
Can we think of any one practical, universal behavior as a principle that all 750 crores of people on this earth, Indians, Africans, Europeans, everybody, blacks, whites, all of us have, that we would like to follow? Anyone guess?
Emotion of love.
Emotion of love. That is natural. If somebody meets with an accident on the road, what is the first reaction? Before you hold back, oh, let me help. Then only you'll start thinking, oh, is it going to be a police case? Should I help? Should I go to the police station and offer a witness? Will I be in trouble? Before all that happens, what is the first reaction?
Compassion.
Compassion, help, isn't it? It is there. So Dharma is there in each one of us. One might find it difficult to express. One might not know Hindi, Gujarati, Punjabi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, English. In this group, we may be adept in expressing it sophisticatedly in English. But if you go to a village person, he will say the same thing in his own native language. The other universal principle is, I don't want to be harmed. I don't want to be exploited or looted. So what should I do? I should not harm or loot others. Don't do unto others what I would not like others do unto me. Should anybody teach that? Not necessary. Everyone knows it. So that is there, but still today we have come to a position where we have to remind ourselves, this is Dharma, this is Adharma, for various reasons of movements in this society. But it's good for us to remind ourselves. But whenever in conflict, if you go back to your instinct, if you go back to your silence, you will know without being told what is Dharma, what is Adharma in that particular instinct. But at some time, it could be little difficult to decide, which will require some guidance of a teacher or a master. Like Sri Krishna was advising in Mahabharata all the Pandavas throughout. There are some very intricate dharmas, where it has to be understood in the proper perspective. Otherwise, people will think, or it's very easy to interpret those situations as, cunningness, cleverness actions. But there will be a background history which a realized being like Sri Krishna only can actually know. But for all day-to-day things, this we can know. When in doubt, you can fall back on the reference texts of various Upanishads or Vedas, or any teacher who has studied Sanatan Dharma and all of these. This is my present level of understanding.
I have some reflection to share on this.
I think,
Please.
yes, I think as far as what is Sanatana Dharma, I believe all of us are clear about it. Sanatana is something which is always true, always present. Dharma is what one's order, the order of nature, order of the manifestation that you ought to follow without even knowing about it. So Sanatana Dharma is not a religion. It's not any faith or any belief system. It is just the way the life is. No, in this context, the Hinduism is also not a religion in my understanding, because the beginning of Hinduism, the word they use Hinduism is I guess was Spanish or a Greek who wanted to invade, and they came to the point of Indus Valley and found the settlement of people around the river, and they could only call them Indus then. And then over the period of time, the pronunciation of Hindus become Hindus, and that's how the Hindus came about. And people had their way of living, their lifestyle, and that lifestyle is then eventually known to be as a Hinduism. So Hinduism is a way of life, the lifestyle per se, and not a following particular faith and belief system. How did the rituals and idol worship came about? As one understands that almost 3/4 of Vedas speak about following certain rituals and yajnas and homas and worshipping deities, etc. Was it related to the period of time when Vedas were taught in masses? Why was these rituals and idol worship were taught to public, to masses, as the way of life?
Okay, there are multiple questions here. Very interesting. There is one other point before we jump into this. The word Sanatana. What actually do we mean by word Sanatana? We say everlasting, eternal, perennial. Is eternal anything possible in time?
No. Eternal would mean not bounded,
Beyond time.
not restricted by time and space.
We have to be careful about the word beyond time. That means it is beyond the reach of human beings, human intellect. Then we are doomed. We are only discussing here, isn't it? It becomes an intellectual exercise. So, Sanatana is that which is, like you said, beyond time. You say beyond time, but the word beyond time must be understood. It is not colored. A better way to put that is, it's not colored by time and space. The moment we put time and space into the equation, culture, language, nationality, caste, creed, all of that comes into picture. Not colored by time and space. Now, what can be not colored by time and space? Can this body not be colored by time and space? This body that you're seeing,
body definitely
for example,
is colored.
this body was not like this when it was born or when this was a boy. Today, you're seeing this body in this shape and size, in this form, as a result of 63 years of growing. So it is colored by time and space. The health that the body had while it was a youth is not there today. Obviously, we'll have joint aches and pains, and we manage with it well. But with age, these things come. So would you please ponder on really, when we say Sanatana, what can really not be colored by time and space?
If you permit, I
As I
would like
mentioned before.
Please,
Yes, please.
please, it's meant to be a discussion.
I want to, something comes in my mind which I want to share, and it's not a point of view. It's kind of a spontaneous pain which inspires me to find an answer to this constant pain which is prevalent in my mind. You see, when we talk about instinct, which is a very beautiful word of communication, and thank you for bringing it, and I quickly understand that. In a way, understanding is also not the right word. I feel it. This instinct is being contaminated by some coloring agent, which humans have. You see the birds and the animals that you mentioned, they are not so much, I wonder if they're victims of time and space. The morning chirping birds, they just chirp out of instinct because they know the light has come, and they express their joy and they chant out, and we call that as a morning. Humans call it a morning or a dawn. We classify, and then the day spends. The words are quite often dragging us to the level of understanding. On one hand, we can say that it will be an intellectual, but everything is intellectual, including this discussion, because our mind is contaminating everything. And that has caused the whole crisis in this world, I feel. The question which has always, disturbed me, and I've asked, I have not found an answer to that. I would like to find it today. It is in the context of these rituals and other things. So the kind of spiritual forums and discussions we have in this Kali Yuga, perhaps it was not there in Satya Yuga. Every morning there is a satsang, every Sunday there is a satsang, roads are blocked. There are so many communities who are discussing spirituality, and we have so much in this world. But on the flip side, the world is worsening. There is war, there is terrorism, there is problems everywhere. So how we can get back to our instinct rather than how we get back to that level where the lion and the lamb can sleep together. Okay, that level of innocence which we have lost. That innocence is lost and we have become intellectuals. It is the only human community. And once again, you see, the human community is also granted this, was created by the Creator to suffer like this. I mean, what is all these, and what is your own wisdom on this, sir?
Thank you for this lovely question. This is the same dilemma I had on the start of my journey. So I fully understand that question. See, the answer would not be to go back in evolution to either the animal or the plant or the mineral kingdom. If you see a mineral, a rock, it's been lying for ages, millennia, barring the climatic conditions changes, 1 millimeter every year or something which is natural. The rock is steady, rain or sunshine, it still remains. Remains a rock. Whether it rains, whether there's lightning, night or day, it is simply still. But that doesn't give any hope for one thing, realization. To know who I am, or to know who or what God is. Therefore, what we think of as a human limitation is actually a boon, which out of greed we have made it into our limitation. The intellect, intellect is a development in the human brain, the thinking capacity, the ability to discern, discriminate. That is very essential to know at the first level socially what is right and what is wrong, but that is the most primitive discrimination, right and wrong, because right and wrong is very, very relative. It is variable from one human to another, from one culture to another, from one value system to another value system. But the next level of discrimination is where the refined intellect can participate and come to rescue, is what is true, what is untrue. Look at the whole human journey. We are all in search of truth. Therefore, what is the instrument that we have in order to search this truth? Can we search the truth with our physical eyes, with our ears, with this body? It has to be understood where in the laboratory of life, the world we live in. And that is why the training of the intellect, or rather the purification, refinement and sharpening of the intellect is extremely essential. Instinct was meant for survival. all of us have instinctive brains, but we have overused it, and we instinctively get angry today, irritated today. But human beings were designed with the higher level of intellect, the thinking capacity, the emotion capacity, the ability to relate, the intelligence. Today we are talking of so many levels of intelligence, not just the IQ, but emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence. All this is a part of the evolutionary system of creation, and we are blessed to be there, to be endowed with this capacity to discern between the true and the untrue. Otherwise, we'll get confused. We'll think what is untrue to be true and follow that as truth. Isn't it? Therefore, just to put it in a little different perspective, intellect has its place. But what is the problem with the intellect? Intellect, can anybody say what is the problem with our intellect today? Okay, let me rephrase the question. Is my intellect independent?
Certainly not.
No,
No, sir.
it's colored with other people's, with my experience, with what I have learned.
With my experience, with what I have learned, the sum total of knowledge and experience of all this, what do I call?
Memory.
Okay, what is memory? Ego.
It is just, yeah. Ego.
When the intellect wants to decide, okay, let me go to satsang today, if you allow the intellect, what it will do, it will only use right, wrong, true, false, good, bad logic and take a decision. Oh, it's cold today, let me sleep. Who interferes in the decision? My own ego. So the problem is not the intellect. The problem is to free the intellect from the influences of the ego in its decision making.
Can you intellectually get freedom from ego?
Yes. What is the instrument that we have? Intellect is the very instrument we have to understand the nature of the ego, the reality or unreality of the ego.
Is it intellect that realizes the truth, or it is something else?
What then we have to ask, what is realization according to us?
Fact, not opinions.
Fact?
Truth.
Fact is what?
Fact is an intellectual description, once again.
Therefore,
truth is.
Truth is, it's irrespective of the way I interpret it.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Right.
Absolutely.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So As I see things, I say it is a fact.
Yes.
Mhm. But do I know if I see it as it is, as things are?
At this level, certainly not. We got to be in some other level
Mhm.
to fathom that.
So therefore, the truth is not an experience. It is an understanding of the totality of things, of every experience that comes to us, micro and macro. And the whole problem with realization of the truth is the understanding. The only instrument that is available for understanding is the human intellect. That which we think is the villain. Turn it around and see, what else do I have to realize the truth? You'll find there is nothing else. You have to use your available resources, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
So what resources do we have? This body, this mind, this intellect. This body we use for yoga every day, do sadhana to purify it, or walk, keep it physically fit. Because a healthy body is a healthy mind, and vice versa.
I often feel, sir, undoing is better than doing. I mean, we should not do anything. I mean, when we start doing all these things, it's a long journey. We'll keep on opening the onion skins one after another.
Correct.
When shall we get awakened straight away, right? It is just a matter of awakening, isn't it?
But how will you awaken?
Just by dropping all these figs that we
How
are
will
wearing.
you drop? How will you drop? What is preventing you from dropping? You means not you in person, sir. Okay, as a dialogue, as a conversation.
Yes.
All right. So it's right just by dropping. All right. But if you drop, so is it, for example, this is a phone. Is it as easy as dropping a phone? Physical objects can be dropped. When you drop things psychologically, well, in this 1 hour of satsang, everything seems to be nice and fine. When we go back and interact with our family, psychologically somebody has hurt us. Why do hurts still persist in our heart? Because we are unable to drop. This is not a thing that is easily dropped. Why? Because it's tightly integrated. Try and separate them. What is a person without his or her emotions, feelings? I'm not justifying any of them, but is it? I think we are just about 10 minutes to stop over the time, right? So we'll
It's
the issue. Yes, please, Umesh ji.
This is not the subject that you can finish in 20-30 minutes. This is ongoing.
Yes.
And we'll be happy to continue it.
The problem is, the problem of dropping is that which I am, if you see my one hand, this is what I am. Okay? And that which I am not, which is indicated by the other hand is tightly integrated, and this is what is called me, Vasu, or Umesh, or Kapilji, whoever. Now, if it's tight, now it's just like saying, can you separate out body and mind? Physically not possible. If you cut open the brain, you can't separate the mind from the body. So it's the process of dropping. Often logically, this is a problem with taking the logic to the other extreme. The process of dropping is not physical. It is psychological, and it is not possible to drop psychologically things, our past. Because what we are today is a sum total of all that we have been in the past till today. I wonder if we see it. If anyone wants to know the past, we don't have to trace the past, go to astrology or palmistry. Know the person as he is today. He is a sum total of all that is in the past, that is converged into the present moment. This is what we call this life. And how do I drop it? I cannot drop it. Any effort to drop it is going to be futile, because it's gathered. What I am today is gathered over lifetimes after lifetimes.
When you say, sir, that we got to remind, then how we are, how we can call it futile? On one hand, you say that by reminding, you can clarify, you can go closer to truth.
Correct.
On the other hand, you were saying that we cannot achieve it by any effort.
Yes. Yes. So, are these two contradictory?
As a statement, it looks like contradictory.
Please explore it.
I still feel that the reason we think it is very difficult to drop itself is the beginning of the difficulty. It should be very easy, because we know it is not working. Are we happy? We are not. Is the world working fine? No. How many intellectual exercise we need to do to be convinced that this is not working? There should be an easier way. This is the question which is bugging me.
Okay, so let's start with the first thing about dropping. From the very process that you have suggested, what will you be dropping?
We can practice presence.
Okay. When we practice presence, what happens?
We at those moments we get away from the past.
Where is the past?
It's fictitious, it's not there.
Yes, correct.
So we come to the present now.
Okay, but you're practicing presence, right?
Yeah, practicing in absence of any other word, I have to use the word practicing.
Yeah, so there is the effort involved. I agree. Okay, if you have to practice presence, you say past is fictitious, not there. All right. When you get up from your practice of presence, what happens to the past?
We attach the reflection of the past to the present only then.
So it comes back.
No, it doesn't come back. It mingles into the ocean of the present. The river is not there anymore.
So in that case, everyone who gets up from sleep in the morning must be self-realized, because there is no practice of presence better than deep sleep. How many days, how many nights have we slept in our life and got up next morning? So there is something more to understanding the presence than the practicing of it. Please tell me one thing that is closer to presence than deep sleep, a good 3-4 hours of deep sleep, uninterrupted deep sleep, that we get every night in our life. There is a carryover, sir, and this is what the rishis and munis have said of Sanatana Dharma. Yesterday gets carried over today. That continuity is a problem. We are born because we have carried over. Just like in our examination, we have a carryover system, no? If we fail in some subjects, then we take it next time. The very fact that we are born is for something that we have carried over, if we choose to actually align with Sanatana Dharma idea of life after life, which is what I would like to just lean on, because that is my trusted source. So can something that slept last night continues the next morning and says, this is Vasu, the same Vasu, the same old Vasu, in spite of being refreshed. And that is preventing me from leading a new life with a new Vasu. So how is it possible to drop that? I'm not saying not possible. That is a question for investigation.
What if we can replace the word effort in this case, in the case of dropping? If we don't use the word effort, if we replace it as inquiry.
Inquiry, yes, please. Yeah, we are on the right path.
Is there any change in the process?
No, it's a process of inquiry, but who inquires? What is the instrument of inquiry that we have? What is it?
When I have asked this question, which Ramana Maharishi has always asked, I immediately find a lot of peace, sir.
Correct.
Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I get into peace. That is the inquiry which I am not in a position to classify in the domain of efforts.
Correct. Yeah, wonderful, because you hit the source. But who am I when you say, which I are you inquiring into?
That is the space I have to cover in a bodily existence. That is the space we have to cover from physicality. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience. So we have to cover that space. Essentially, we are all spiritual.
So are you trying to inquire into your true nature of I?
Yes.
All right. So be careful there, please. Can you inquire into your true nature? Who inquires?
I feel that what else can I do?
I means who? Please be specific.
It cannot be specified.
The little self who is dissatisfied with life wants to inquire with its own higher self true nature. Is it possible?
Why shouldn't it be?
That's a good question to contemplate. Let us give ourselves 1 week and then we continue on next Tuesday.
I'm not pushing anybody to the corner.
Who
please.
is inquiring?
Okay, this is not the purpose. It is not. These are some typical pitfalls in self-inquiry process of who am I, which I am I inquiring into. Now, can you ever inquire into the truth? That which is ever present?
No.
Then what can we inquire into? Only the falsehood, isn't it?
Yes.
See?
What is inquired? What is inquiry? Who is inquiry? Is the question that we have to. Who is asking this question?
We return to the futility.
And what is the question?
So Ramana's question is often misunderstood. Ramana's question is not wrong. The way I understand and reflect on it and take it forward requires the refinement in understanding. It is not the fault of the system, it's not the fault of the teacher. Neither is it is our fault. We are all conditioned beings. And we understand things according to our conditioned mind. From there, how can we start clearing up the conditioning and understand it more and more transparently?
Acharya ji, can I ask also one question that can be discussed in next Tuesday?
Yes, please.
That's all Sanatan Dharma and all dharmas we are following, and always comes in my mind, it is possible that all the world should follow Sanatan Dharma on only one, and humanity and all must live with peace. It is possible. Once it is true internally that Sanatan Dharma also is a very good, we must follow it, and the life must be a good. It will be possible. As the American, as the Australian, the Indians, all the world people must follow. It's only one. Can it is possible? We all are disturbed. We are talking the interaction that much. How many gurus, how many dharmas, that disturb us. It is possible. Always comes in my mind. We have also discussed earlier also with Umesh that God is only one. But we are following so many gods. But still we say that it is okay. So like this also we must follow Sanatan Dharma. Once that is a good, Sanatan Dharma is a very good, and it is an internal and universal principle. So we should follow it as it is possible that everywhere, that all the countries must follow it. People of our world.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Yes, we can speak about this, and there are many such questions and points that can arise in our mind. We will have to be patient and continue talking about it every week, and depending on Vasuji's availability, we will continue next Tuesday. Request him to be present with us, and we will address all these questions and doubts that we may have. But as he said very correctly, let it be more of a sharing of everyone's thoughts, not just one person talking about it. It should be a dialogue, because each one of us come with our own knowledge and experiences. So we should share what we understand. When you raise a question, what makes you raise that question? Why do you raise that question? Ask yourself that question. How did the question came about? So thank you so much. It was excellent. I tried to remain a good listener. Thank you, Asuji. So it's time to conclude, unfortunately, but we still remain in the frequency of time and space, so we have to abide that. Can we just close our eyes and chant Om 3 times, and then I shall offer the prayer. Satoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritangamaya Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, God, for giving us air to breathe. Thank you, God, for giving us water to drink. Thank you, God, for giving us sun for energy. Thank you, God, for giving us food to eat. Thank you, God, for giving us good health and happiness. Thank you, God, for giving us positivity. Thank you, God, for giving us all that we deserve. Thank you, God, for your love, your protection, your guidance, your blessings. Thank you, God, for the existence. Thank you for giving me a chance to serve you. Thank you. Thank you, Asuji. Thank you, Kapilji. Thank you, Asitji. Thank you, everyone, to be present today.
Thank you,
I wish you have a
everyone.
very nice
Thank
day.
you.
Yes, have a nice
Thank
day.
you, Acharya ji.
Thank you, Acharya ji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vasudev.
Thank you.
Thank you.